An aircraft carrier is a warship that serves as a seagoing airbase, equipped with a full-length flight deck and facilities for carrying, arming, deploying, and recovering aircraft. Typically, it is the capital ship of a fleet, as it allows a naval force to project air power worldwide without depending on local bases for staging aircraft operations. Carriers have evolved since their inception in the early 20th century from wooden vessels used to deploy balloons to nuclear-powered warships that carry numerous fighters, strike aircraft, helicopters, and other types of aircraft. The United States is the only country with a fleet of large-deck, nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, dubbed supercarriers by some. Each of the current fleet's 10 Nimitz-class carriers displaces nearly 100,000 tons of water and has over 4 acres of deck space from which 5 dozen aircraft can operate. They are not only the largest warships in history, they are also the American military's signature weapon system. So the United States Navy spends approximately $60 billion per year operating and supporting its fleet of approximately 480 ships. To put things into perspective, Americans spend approximately $70 billion on lottery tickets, $80 billion on cigarettes, and approximately $100 billion on beer each year. Today, we'll learn how much it really costs to operate aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy. The United States Navy possesses 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers. The U.S. Navy only has 9 air wings because one of the carriers is undergoing refit at any given time, and only a few are deployed at any given time. Each carrier has 6,590 military personnel on average. A supercarrier's average annual operating cost is $1.18 billion. A carrier air wing typically employs 4,860 people and has an annual operating budget of $910 million per unit. So the annual operating cost of a carrier, including the air wing, is $2.1 billion. According to retired Navy Captain Henry Hendricks of the Center for a New American Security, calculated 3 years ago that operating a carrier strike group, including its air wing and the various warships that escort it, costs about $6.5 million per day. Carrier strike groups are expensive to buy and operate. Factoring in the total life cycle costs of an associated carrier air wing, 5 surface combatants, and 1 fast attack submarine, plus the nearly 6,700 men and women to crew them, it costs about $6.5 million per day to operate each strike group. Because an aircraft carrier's ability to defend itself is limited, it relies on other types of ships or defense against missiles, aircraft, and submarines. A carrier strike group typically includes at least 1 cruiser, at least 2 destroyers, and occasionally a supply ship or a submarine. A carrier strike group's operational cost ranges from $6 million to $8 million per day, depending on the exact configuration. The annual cost of operating 11 carriers and 9 air wings is approximately $21 billion. The cost of the Navy's next 3 carriers is rising, owing in part to the installation of equipment and electronics to accommodate the new F-35 Joint Strike Fighters. The Navy fiscal year 2022 budget justification document calls for increased spending on the electromagnetic catapult and arresting gear on the carrier John F. Kennedy systems that cost hundreds of millions of dollars more than budget on the USS Gerald R. Ford, the lead ship in the Navy's new class of carriers,